What's up YouTube, Silver Dragons here, and in this video, I'm gonna compare US currency to silver. Let's do it! Thank you so much for watching my video. I sincerely appreciate it. If you want to learn more about investing in precious metals, or if you just want to watch awesome videos about gold and silver, then subscribe to my channel. This video is going to be comparing US currency to silver. Now you can compare US currency to gold. I primarily am a silver stacker, and I primarily stack American Silver Eagles. So I'm going to use a 1 ounce American Silver Eagle in this video for the comparison. And these are pretty similar in price to a $20 bill. So we're going to use this Federal Reserve note here for our US currency. Now, if you have friends or people that don't understand the power of saving your money, saving your wealth in precious metals, then I would say share this video with them. Share it on social media. Let's get the word out there about how you can actually save your wealth in precious metals rather than seeing your wealth dwindle away if you save in US currency or whatever currency your country has for that matter. So, okay. In the video, we're going to talk about inflation. We're going to talk about using precious metals as a hedge against inflation. So we're going to look at what's happened in the past with the price of silver and also the buying power of silver versus US currency. Now, if I were to ask you today, which would you rather have, this $20 bill or this 1 ounce American Silver Eagle? And I should say, as I'm filming this video, the spot price of silver is right around $17 per ounce. Now, these do carry a little bit of a premium when you sell them, these Eagles. So you get about $1 extra when you sell it. So this is worth about $18 today. Now, if you don't know what an American Silver Eagle is, it's just a $1 coin made by the United States of America, and it also has 1 ounce of fine silver. You can see that at the bottom there. Okay, so if I asked you, which would you rather have today, the $20 bill or the Silver Eagle? You would be stupid not to take the $20 bill. This is worth more. You can get more stuff with the $20 bill today. Like I said, you could sell this for about $18. So, you know, if someone offered me the choice between the two, I'd take the 20 bucks. I'd probably go buy a 1 ounce American Silver Eagle, and then I'd still have $2 left over. That's a no-brainer. But what if I said you could either have the $20 bill or the 1 ounce American Silver Eagle, and you cannot spend either of them for 10 years. And then after the 10 years, you could spend it, cash it out, do whatever you want with it. Which would you take then? Most people would probably still take the $20 bill. They'll say, you know, oh, I'm not an expert in investing in precious metals. The price of silver goes up and down. It's very volatile. I don't really know what's going to happen with the price of silver in the next 10 years. So I'm just going to take the 20 bucks, throw it in my savings account, and then I'll spend that. That's probably what most people would say. I would say that is a massive mistake. I think that would be a terrible idea to take the $20 bill, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Right now, this is worth $18. I think in 10 years from now, it's going to be worth probably much more than that. So let's look at inflation. Let's look at what's happened in the past, and we'll use that to kind of predict the future. And you'll see where I'm going with this. So let's move this up here. Now, one way to look at inflation is to see what a certain amount of money can buy you in different periods of time. So we'll take like the $20 bill, and we'll see how many hamburgers you could buy with that back in the day and how many you could buy with them today. So I got this little chart out here to help illustrate what I'm talking about. So I went back to 1968, which is 51 years ago. And the reason I'm using that date is in 1964, that was the last year that the US government made our coinage out of silver. So the dimes, quarters, half dollars, and dollars were made out of 90% silver until 1964. And then 1965 to 1970, they made the half dollars out of 40% silver. But so in the early 60s, the price of silver was very low. Once we stopped making our coinage out of silver, we saw that it could trade freely, and the price went up dramatically. And in 1968, we saw the price go up to $2.70 per ounce. So I'm going to use that as my starting point. So we got silver price in 1968. It went up to $2.70. Okay. And what is the price of silver today? Like I said earlier in the video, it's right around $17 an ounce. So we're going to go with that. $17. I'll put a couple of zeros in there, make it easy. Okay. So as you can see, back in the 60s, silver was worth a lot less when you compare it to our US currency than it is worth today. So you can see the price has gone up, and you know, it has dipped down and gone up since then, but it's sort of been a gradual incline in the price. Obviously there was spikes and dips, but over the course of time it's doing this. Okay, it's going up in its price. Now, what about the price of hamburgers? How much could you buy a hamburger for in 1968? Well, I wasn't around back then, but according to my father-in-law, you could buy a hamburger at McDonald's for 15 cents. Now, you can look at pictures on the internet of the price of hamburgers at McDonald's. In fact, let me show you one right now. 15 cents. Okay, there you go. So 15 cents for a hamburger at McDonald's. Now, I know that in the late 60s, early 70s, the price went up to about 25 cents per hamburger, but we're going to go with 15 cents in 1968. So a hamburger, you could get one for 15 cents. Well, what about today? What is the price of hamburger today? Well, if you go to McDonald's, they cost around $1. I cannot get them for any cheaper than $1 where I live. Maybe you can in other parts of the United States of America. I don't know. Some parts are probably a lot more expensive than $1, but we're going to go with $1 because that's what they cost here around me. $1 for a hamburger at McDonald's. Okay. Now, here is where we start getting some really interesting info, and all of this will start to make sense. So I have, what is the number of hamburgers you could buy with the $20 bill in 1968? Well, the correct answer, if you do a little bit of math, is actually 133 hamburgers. And you will actually still have 5 cents left over for a soda. So if you don't believe me, let me get my little calculator out here. Turn it on. And so we'll do 133 hamburgers times 0.15 equals 19.95. So it's $19.95 to buy the 133 hamburgers. You still got 5 cents left over. So that's a lot of hamburgers that you could buy in 1968 with a $20 bill. Now, what about today? How many hamburgers can you buy with that same $20 bill today? Well, it's $20. Each hamburger costs $1, so you can buy a whopping 20 hamburgers today. So why is it that today you can only get 20 hamburgers, and back in the 60s you could get 133 hamburgers with that same $20 bill? Well, the answer is inflation. Over time, the US currency has been inflated and the buying power of our money is going down. You're able to get less things today with this than you used to be able to get. And you don't have to just look at hamburgers. You could look at the price of school. If you go to like a private college or whatever, the price has gone up so much. You can look at the price of gas. You can look at the price of toilet paper. Whatever you want to look at, you can buy way less things today with your money than you used to be able to buy. Whenever we create more money, then we have inflation. That is the classic cause of inflation, is creating more money. And the US government is creating more money, more US currency like ever before. I mean, if you look at the debt counter, we're in 20 some odd trillion dollars of debt, and it's getting greater and greater every year. Whenever we create more debt, we're creating more money, and the buying power of your money goes down. Now, we're actually right now starting to get into a currency war with China. The Chinese government has decided they're going to devalue their currency to make the goods that they have seem cheaper. Well, if the US starts to devalue our currency even more, then we could see the buying power of this go down dramatically in the next couple of years. So, that's to be determined. But now let's look at silver. So we can see that back in 1968 we had a spot price of $2.70 for silver. So how many burgers could you buy with 1 ounce of silver? Well, the answer is you could buy 18 hamburgers with your 1 ounce of silver. All you got to do is, let's see, get this back to 0. 18 times 15 cents equals 270. That was the spot price of silver. So you can get 18 hamburgers back in 1968. Well, what about today? How many hamburgers can you buy with your 1 ounce of silver? Well, if you remember at the start of this video, I said these carry a little bit of a premium and you could sell this for $18 today. So how many hamburgers could you buy today with $18 and they each cost $1? Well, you could actually buy 18 hamburgers today. Now, I know some of you are going to say, oh, the spot price of silver is only 17. Why are you using an eagle? You know, those have a little bit of a premium. You're kind of messing with the numbers. Even if this was only 17, it's still very similar, right? Back in the 60s, you could get 18. Today, you could get 17. Well, if you actually take the average spot price of silver over the last decade, it would be right around $20 if you take the end of the year price. So you could look at it that way and say, oh, you could actually get around 20 hamburgers today. So either way, between the 60s and now, you could get about 15 to 20 hamburgers back in the 60s with a 1 ounce of silver. And today you can get about 15 to 20 hamburgers with your 1 ounce of silver. So what does that mean? That means silver is a great hedge against inflation. We're having our US currency inflated, but silver is still able to buy you the same amount of stuff. So this is not affected by this getting extremely devalued. So let's go back to that scenario that I asked you at the start. I said, which would you rather have and hold for the next 10 years? Would you rather have the $20 bill where, who knows how many hamburgers this is going to be able to buy you in the next 10 years? Is it still going to be able to get you 20 hamburgers? What's going to be the price of one hamburger in 10 years from now? If the price of a hamburger goes up to $2, then this will only be able to get you 10 hamburgers. If we take the silver, which we can see has a very great track record of keeping its value over the long term, this will probably be able to get you around 18 hamburgers in 10 years from now. Some people argue it could probably get you a lot more. Some people maybe wouldn't argue that. But if we look at the past, you can see it's a very good predictor of the future. I'll bet that this will be able to get you around 18 hamburgers in 10 years from now. So if the price of hamburgers goes up to $2 per hamburger, well, then you could expect to see this go up to around $36 for an ounce of silver. Now, that's just basing the price of silver off of US currency. I believe that this is going to be inflated dramatically over the next decade with the amount of debt our government is adding, with the currency crisis. If we're really in a currency war and we dramatically devalue our money, then I think this is going to be able to get you a lot less stuff. So if it were me, I would rather take the silver and hold my money in that. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm taking my extra money, and instead of putting it in a savings account and these fiat notes, I'm buying silver with my extra money, and I'm storing my money this way because this is a great hedge against inflation. That was the whole point of this video, just trying to put it in easy terms that you can understand, to where if you save your money in fiat currency, look what's happened. You went from 133 all the way down to 20. So it's getting weaker. You're being able to buy less things with that same money. If you put your money in something like silver, gold, precious metals, then over time it holds its value and you're able to get about the same amount of things with your silver. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, if you have anything you'd like to add to the video, definitely drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject. I do want to say a massive thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you all in the next one. Silver Dragons out.